I'm Layla. Welcome to raidlore Stories. Today's story is going to be for Dune Lord Greggor. He's probably one of the newer champs that was added. That happens to be like one of the Unity champs, right? And he's for the Barbarian faction. And I really like his design. I think they did such a good job. Like with this neat circle under him. And I guess it makes sense for him to have this like barbarianish kind of banner because he's the Unity faction one, right? So I would love to know what his lore story is. So let's check it out right now. During the Second Great War, the Arbiter needed a general to command the Kraken Desert nomads, a people of countless warring factions. For generations, the nomad clans had bristled at any notion of centralized authority. There was only one man the Arbiter thought could persuade his people to set aside centuries of rivalries and feuds: Greggor Greatclaw of the Sand Bear clan. A man of Ursine strength, booming voice, avuncular warmth, and wicked humor. What distinguished him to the Arbiter was his sense for politics and consensus building. Unusually for a nomad chieftain, Greggor had offered many of his precious children as marriage partners and liaisons to other clans, to establish bonds of blood and loyalty. He even directed his clan's fighting strength against the enemies of his allies, expecting nothing in return besides friendship. Many clans mistrusted him at first, but doubters fell silent as those in Greggor's coalition thrived thanks to the reduction in internecine strifes. The Arbiter came to Greggor bearing a dwarven-made battle axe from her personal armory, crafted to a standard of excellence not seen among the surface-dwelling world for centuries. She offered him the weapon as a covenant. If Greggor united his people and commanded them as a cohesive fighting force, she would give him the weapon as a symbol of authority and prestige. Greggor offered, for the Arbiter's vision matched his own. Greggor swiftly proved staunch and unbreakable even against overwhelming odds. When demon-spawn invasions began across the desert, he rode at a furious pace from battle to battle, helping nomads of every stripe fend off the invaders. When he turned the tide and won the day, he bid the surviving warriors follow him for further glory, his gleaming axe in the desert sun as he held it high. Few could resist such an offer in those dire times. At the Battle of Bloody Ridge, he protected an entire encampment of wounded soldiers sheltering in a sandy valley. He held the crest of a dune against wave after wave of demon spawn, holding the precious high ground and soaking the sands of putrid ichor. Witnesses saying he fought with all the fury of a mother sand bear protecting her cubs. Without his heroics, the invaders would have poured into the valley with unstoppable downward momentum and slaughtered the infirm. After that, his subordinates dubbed him the Dune Lord, and his rise to fame soared. The world will never know if Greggor could have consolidated his power and made his wartime status permanent, for even before the close of the Second Great War, powers large and small conspired against him. His old rivals called Greggor a demagogue and a tyrant, a menace to the freedoms that the nomads cherished. Foreign rulers feared the possibility of a powerful expansionist nomad horde and sent their agents to slaughter and sabotage Greggor's activities. One by one, dramatically or quietly, Greggor's allies and supporters betrayed him. Some were swayed by their peers or by outside pressures. Others never intended to continue backing Greggor once the immediate danger had passed. By the end of the Second Great War, he was Dune Lord no longer, and his power blown away like sand in the wind. And it seemed that his dream of instilling a lasting political consciousness in his fellow nomads had failed. Furthermore, nearly every warrior of his clan had been killed or displaced by the conflict. Many survivors had assimilated into other clans or left the Kraken to seek their fortunes elsewhere. He was tormented with doubt and regret, wondering if he could protect his kin better if he had never taken up the Arbiter's offer. He cursed her and slammed his dwarven-made axe to the ground. When he lifted up his eyes from where it lay, he saw the Arbiter. Greggor told the Arbiter that he had nothing left to live for. Even though Greggor blamed her and excoriated her, naming her a schemer, manipulator, incapable of true empathy toward mortals, the Arbiter forgave him and comforted him. She told him that the nomad's independent streak was both a blessing and a curse. One person, no matter how mighty and charismatic, could not force change to come. It would have to come from the nomads themselves, the masses making the choice collectively. No union forged only in fire and blood, in shared terror and trauma, could truly last. Greggor saw the wisdom in his words, but still he despaired, a warrior without a cause. The Arbiter produced a shard and explained its function, offered Greggor the chance to fight against darkness forevermore. He accepted, wishing to dwell agelessly within the shard, so that one day he might live to see his people unite, their realm stretching across the searing dunes of the Kraken. Okay, guys, I thought that was a pretty good story. I do like that. So it helps to explain why, like, if you look at his feet, it looks like there's claws, like they're bare feet, right? And why he's got like this bear paw thing on his banner. I think that makes a lot of sense for the story because he was like this, it was like the sand bear, clan, right? So I think that's really neat. And it's interesting how the story went about how he rose, but then he was betrayed and started to fall and just didn't want a part of it anymore. But in the end, Arbiter offers him a chance to actually fight for a greater cause, not necessarily just for the barbarians. Guys, drop me a comment down below. What do you think for the lore story for Dune Lord Greggor? Did you like it? Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.